Hello everyone, welcome to the Astrology News Report. I'm Ron Berger, and today is April 19th, 2015. This is the special reports section where I'll take a topic or person or situation that is pertinent to world events and do an in-depth astrological analysis. This will be a special predictive report on the British elections scheduled for May 7th. As horse races go, this one is turning out to be pretty exciting. Now at the midpoint in the campaign, with 3 weeks gone and 3 weeks yet to go, the two front runners, David Cameron and Ed Miliband, are still neck and neck. Each night brings another poll projection showing Cameron's Conservative Party or Miliband's Labour Party separated by just a few seats in the next House of Commons. Unless there's a breakout moment, it's going to be down to the wire for this contest. When using Vedic astrology for predicting the outcome of a competition, we first go to the birth charts of the two contestants and see if we can determine which one has the stronger chart. Here's the birth chart of David Cameron, using the published birth time of 6 a.m., which sounds like it is approximate, but it'll do for this analysis. So, here we have a Virgo rising, the sign of meticulous details, with Mercury, ruler of the ascendant, in the second house of speaking. Furthermore, Venus, ruler of the second house, is in the first house, forming a relationship between the house of speech and house of self, making him a smooth talker. Note, too, that Venus represents his ninth house of good fortune. And there's the Sun, planet of royalty and authority, in the ascendant. Also, Jupiter is exalted in this chart, and with the Moon, forming a Hamsa Yoga, a powerful combination that brings respect and renown in the 11th house of gains and rewards. Obviously, this guy is born to rule. But not all is wonderful in his chart. Note that Saturn, ruler of the 6th house of problems and difficulties, is in the house of partnerships and direct enemies, and sending its malefic aspect to his ascendant. Meanwhile, Mars, the planet of attack, is in the 12th house of hidden things. So, Mr. Cameron has to be partners with those who can give him trouble, and there are others working behind his back to undermine him. It looks like Mr. Cameron has his share of difficulties, as well as good fortune. Now we turn to Ed Miliband's chart. Here we have the indefatigable pioneer sign, Aries, rising, with Mars, the chart ruler, in the 11th house of goals and ambitions, and in an exchange with Saturn, the ruler of the 11th house, in the first house of self. Definitely a guy with the drive to accomplish. And here we see the Sun, significator of authority and rulership, in the 9th house of destiny. Another guy born to rule. See that Venus, the planet of devotion, is in his 9th house of beliefs, and that it represents his 2nd house of speech. Mr. Miliband speaks his truth. He's passionate about what he believes. Also note that Jupiter, the ruler of his 9th house of good fortune, is placed in his 7th house, thereby sending its benefic rays to his ascendant. The same Jupiter sends its energy to Saturn, which is the planet of the workers, placed in his 1st house of self. But for Aries rising charts, Jupiter is a mixed bag because it also represents the 12th house of loss and sacrifice. Here in the 7th house of partnerships, indicating that in his relationships, Mr. Miliband has to give something up in order to achieve his destiny. Now we go to the predictive analysis for each chart. Vedic astrology's planetary period system tells us what part of the chart will be activated and when. So, in Mr. Cameron's chart, we see that he is at the very end of his Venus major period. Venus, the planet representing his ninth house of good fortune, placed in his ascendant, has indeed been good to him, but that is now ending. After the Venus major period comes the Sun major period, and as the planet of authority in his first house, the Sun period may extend his rule. But note that the Sun, as the ruler of the sign Leo, also represents his 12th house of endings and loss. So, this does not look good for Mr. Cameron. His good luck is about to change. Now we return to Ed Miliband's chart and see how he is doing in the planetary period system. Mr. Miliband is in the middle of his Mercury major period. For an Aries rising chart, Mercury rules the 6th house of struggles and the 3rd house of efforts. Mercury is placed in his 9th house of good fortune, accompanied by the Sun, planet of power and authority. So, looks like it's an uphill battle, but his karma appears to hand him the reins of power at this time in his life. But then, there is another component in this contest, which is the public. How will the voters be disposed when they go to the polls? Well, for that analysis, we go to the chart of the election, whose birth time will be when polling begins, at 7 a.m. on May 7th. Wow, here's something noteworthy right away. Mars, the planet of anger and combat, is conjunct Mercury, the planet of making decisions, in the ascendant. Further, Mars is directly opposite and sending its malefic energy to Saturn, the planet of established order, in the 7th house. If Saturn wins this battle, Mr. Cameron holds on to power. If Mars wins, then the established order is on its way out. The moon is the significator of the public. Note that the moon is at the very end of Scorpio when polling begins. But shortly thereafter, the moon will change signs, leaving Scorpio and entering Sagittarius on the very day of the election. Sagittarius is the self-willed sign of personal beliefs, of freedom and independence. Additionally, the beginning of Sagittarius is the lunar sign Mola, which signifies dissolution and big changes in life. So that clinches it. The British public wants a change, which means the existing order is out, and Ed Miliband becomes Britain's next Prime Minister. Okay, there you have it. We shall soon see how it all turns out.